Welcome back to AFL from LA. I'm your host, Cindye, and I'm here as always with Andrew from Ankle Sore. Hi, Andy.
Hey, Cindye. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay, before we get started, the first thing I have to do is I have to give a shout out to Dark Dance 3002. He actually tallied up our little bet for us the other day, okay?
Okay. Yep.
Wins and losses. But more importantly, that I checked out this person's profile picture and it says Chuck Finley, and then it has a picture of Bruce Campbell. Do you know what that is?
Bruce Campbell's Evil Dead, right?
Right. And he also played a character on a show called Burn Notice, whose alias on that show was Chuck Finley. This is so far out and it made me laugh. So just a special shout out to you. Thank you for watching and thank you for looking after me on this tally thing.
How are you going with the tips anyway?
So I think you're ahead by one.
What do you mean you think?
Well, because I actually then was inspired to do like a log of it. Like I did a whole spreadsheet so that we can keep track of this and I don't have to rely on the kindness of others. And I think as of last week, you are ahead one game. You've got one more right than I do. So congratulations. And you know which game that might have been. Although, in fairness, you picked Geelong and I picked the Giants and it sort of canceled each other out on that. So anyway, I'll send it to you. I'll send the spreadsheet. Let's get going. Let's just jump right in with round 4. Collingwood is going to be playing a group of players, a group called Carlton.
Young fellows.
Which is normally an exciting game. It's a Thursday night at the MCG. This is going to be Carlton's 4th game in Melbourne. Their 3rd game at the MCG, and they've only played Thursday and Friday night games. So just thought I would bring that to your attention. Andy, what were your thoughts at the final siren for the Carlton Bulldogs game?
At first I giggled.
Oh, that's nice.
Like a maniacal laugh, you know. Then I just thought, just sack them all.
Sack them all. It's so unusual coming from you.
Yeah, it's something from left field. They're a mess. They're an absolute mess of a club. I don't even think it's on field anymore. I think just the whole club's like.
Really?
They got a new president this year. I don't even know who it is. Haven't heard from him.
Does the president call you all individually?
Not at all. But
no?
Every supporter knows their club president. No one knows who the Carlton one is.
Really?
You can Google it, but come and show your face.
I'm going to.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you will. I won't because I feel fans need to be treated with a bit more respect than that. I had a funny comment in my Carlton Club Corner video saying they should shut the club down.
Really?
Lock the door and throw away their keys.
Wow.
And I basically said, I'll take care of the club if that's the case. So I could be the new president soon.
So
Who
that's
knows?
not an option for you. Packing up, calling it a day after how many years do you guys say?
1864 they were formed. So, we can't all be Harry Mackay's and just decide when we do things.
Speaking of, I texted you this, but they said he was out for personal reasons indefinitely. And then I heard yesterday he actually played in the VFL. Mm-hmm. The personal reason thing is starting to become...
No. Again, I've had comments where they're like, how can you take someone's mental health?
Right.
That's not mental health. That's just like it's too hard. Everyone goes through stuff in life, like, come on.
It's true.
But you can go and play in the VFL. You can leave the club high and dry and your teammates high and dry just because you decide you don't want to play because you've had a bad day. Come on. That's not on.
That's
I'm not
my concern. That's my concern when people like to put the mental health thing on the sport, because there are people that are actually suffering from real problems, and fair enough. If that's what's happening, that's a serious issue. But sometimes it's like a guise of, if we say it's mental health, no one will question us. And then, we can get away with stuff, which I think then kind of ruins it for the people who actually need your empathy and your understanding for when 100%. They are, right? So moving on, who is losing this game and why?
Carlton is losing.
Okay. Why?
Because they are a basket case.
Okay.
And you can't just flick the switch and play well. That's it. It's as simple as that. Collingwood, they go about their business. They don't rely on 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. They rely on 18 to play well. And Carlton rely on too few. And we know the story. It's been going on for 5 years. Patrick Cripps, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Sick of hearing
Poor
it.
Patrick Cripps.
The key to Carlton's success is him leaving the club. Again, not because he's a bad player, but he just doesn't. We're not better with him.
Okay.
So Carlton lose.
All right. Well, Carlton lose. I agree. They can't run out games. They have like one half in them. They're doing the crash and bash game plan, and they can't sustain it for the entire game, let alone the whole season. And it doesn't seem like they have a backup plan, right?
No.
But I will say Collingwood really don't have like star forwards. They have a lot, they have the Triple M guys. And,
Yep, Triple M, yeah.
And of course they have Bobby Hill and they have Jamie Elliott. But Silvani actually looks good down back, right? Outback, down back. Outback, like the steakhouse.
Outback is over there.
So Silvani looked good, and Wiedering is normally excellent. I mean, he didn't have his best game this past week.
No.
But do you think the Pies will still get it done? No matter, if those two are playing well.
I think Collingwood will win by 10 goals plus.
10 goals! Wow.
I think the damn wall's going to break this week.
All right. Well, stay tuned. We're going to find out soon enough. Game 2, Geelong versus Melbourne. It's Friday night at Alphabet City, GMHBA. Okay, so the Cats did lose to the Lions, as we mentioned earlier. Did Brisbane's win over the Cats signal a turning point in the Lions season, or did it expose something worse about the Cats?
I don't know. Like, I'm a bit disappointed in Geelong because, again, they had Brisbane on toast. Brisbane just ran over the top of them like they've done all year.
Yeah.
Every game this year, they've ran over the top of teams.
Yeah.
They're looking menacing again, Brisbane. But Geelong, I think they play their best football on a dry track.
But you said something that somebody else, I think, commented that actually the Cats play better in wet weather. So which one is it? Yeah.
They used to. That's a myth. They used to in the early 2000s, like when they had the Jimmy Bartells and those types of guys. They loved the wet weather for some reason.
Okay.
So I don't know. I just think they're a younger team now, right? And they need the comfort of their home ground to. Even though I thought they'd beat Brisbane, and they almost did, but they didn't. So
yeah, they were close, though. They were certainly in it. Let's move along to this Melbourne. Melbourne was absolutely crushed by the Suns. Was this a breakout performance by a top 4 side, or is this the beginning of the end for Melbourne?
It's the beginning of the end. It's not a breakout performance against Melbourne. Come on. If you think Carlton's bad, have a look at Melbourne. They're a mess.
So this might be a little redundant, but who loses and why?
No, it's not redundant because you'll see the biggest loss of the year this weekend.
So who's losing?
Melbourne. Melbourne's losing. Losing.
And the why?
Well, they did this about 15 years ago, Melbourne. They went down to Geelong on an ugly Friday night and they got 34 goals or something kicked against them. And
wow,
that was a beginning in the end, and that's where their rebuild starts. So it probably needs something like that to happen for them to realise we need to start again.
So, Melbourne's losing this one. Home ground advantage.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I know. Home ground advantage. They're going to be more motivated by the loss to the Lions. And I think Melbourne's going to be shaken up. I mean, I'd be surprised if Track and Oliver are going to be on this team next year. Game 3, the Gold Coast Suns against the Adelaide Crows. I'm going to venture to say game of the round.
Absolutely. Now, let's just get something straight here.
Yeah, go for it.
This Victorian bias, right?
Yeah.
Is non-existent. Okay.
Bullshit. But explain yourself.
This is a game of the round. I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, but one Victorian does not make all Victorians. I don't know how your math works out.
Okay, so interstate sides, any sides, but interstate sides especially, right?
Non-Victorian sides. Go ahead. Yeah.
Need to impress me, right? You need to earn your stripes with me. You just don't rock up and decide to play a blockbuster game. Okay. Because you say it's a blockbuster game.
Yeah.
Gold Coast have earned it. Adelaide have earned it. I'm looking forward to this one. The Vic bias is gone. Okay. I can't wait for this game.
So this game is being played at People's First. It's a home game for the Suns. Is it safe to say that the Suns' fear of flying is officially over? Has the phobia gone?
Mm-hmm.
It has.
Yep. They've
All
won their
right.
last 4 games away from home.
They've been to
So-
Perth. They've been to Melbourne. They've been getting all over the place. These
They've
guys.
been everywhere, man.
Everywhere. So, is playing North Melbourne still considered taking a free hit, or do the Crows really have to bring the goods?
No, there's no free hits against North Melbourne anymore. That's shifted to Richmond, unless you're Carlton. The Crows had to fight for that one, even though they won comfortably in the end. They had to fight tooth and nail to get to that point.
They did. Did you feel conflicted at all during that game?
No.
No, you were just full blaze away Crows fan.
You should have seen the smile on my face when I saw Isaac Rankin getting. See, I'm a Crows
You're a Crows
follower,
man
not
now.
supporter. Yeah, but say, where's the Vic bias? I love the Crows.
So I was clearly having an identity crisis during that game.
I know.
I didn't know. I'm like,
know.
Souvlaki. And then next minute, I'm like, Rankin. And next minute, I'm like, Keys. 80. What the hell? I didn't know what was going on. My head was spinning.
Dear.
All right. So who loses and why?
I think Gold Coast lose.
Okay. Why?
I just think they're not equipped to deal with that Crows forward line just yet.
Yeah.
Give me Charlie Ballard,
Okay.
and maybe it's a different story.
All right.
But you've got to have your best going against the Crows. Like, you've got to be absolute best because they will kick a score on you, you know? So I think Gold Coast lose.
Well, I disagree. I think the Suns are gonna beat the Crows. It's a home game, and as we've talked about before, it has been a fortress for them. They've rarely lost at People First.
Yeah, it's a fortress because they keep the people in, yes. It is.
The Crows have actually lost the last 3 meetups out of 5, but at the same time, you know, this could be a coin toss, really. I mean, it's going to be interesting because neither of these teams have actually played a top side yet either.
No.
So it will be fun to watch.
It's an exciting game.
Watch them with some real competition for them, you know?
Absolutely. And are they a top team, both of them? So are they playing each other? Is that sort of, we get a gauge of where they're both at, I suppose?
I think so. So either way, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Alrighty. Richmond versus Brisbane, a Saturday evening at MCG. So, Andy, Brisbane beat Geelong, as we've mentioned, and I've heard you say you're not convinced about the Lions. So, what is it that they're failing at, or has that gone away for you?
I think it went away last week. I think that win, that third, come from behind win against a good side like Geelong, pretty much just washed away all my fears with Brisbane.
Oh, that's so sweet. Who washed away your cares? It's nice when your worries get swept away.
Look. I don't do sing-alongs. All right. So if you want me to do Sound of Music or something, it's not going to happen.
We won't do that. So Richmond actually was doing pretty well in the first half, and they completely fell away. So what does it say about where they are?
They're at the bottom of the barrel.
Complete bottom. It seems like there's a tight race for the bottom of the barrel right now.
No, there's no race. Richmond are there. I mean, apart from that round 1 debacle, they'll struggle to win another game. I think they'll win one more.
Okay.
They're in the world of hurt. I feel sorry for the kids.
Yeah.
They're going to have a long season, but it'll hold them in good stead because going forward, you need that experience. You need to learn how to lose.
Yep.
Especially now where it counts for nothing. Like, they're not playing finals this year. They've got no aspirations.
Yeah.
They're not playing like they're playing finals. They're playing to learn. Right?
And there's no expectations.
Zero expectations.
So anything they kind of do that's positive is
and they've already had that positive, that round 1 thing, right? So now it's just like Richmond supporters can just sit back and go, okay, let's just see. Oh, geez, that was nice. And geez, he played well and he's going to be good in 3 years. So that's it. That's where they're at.
So who loses and why?
Richmond, and I just told you why.
Well, I think Brisbane lose. No, I'm just kidding.
Really?
No.
Do you want to go with that?
I don't. Midfield's too strong. I mean, all the things you just mentioned. I mean, even though the Lions have been slow starters, they've been strong finishers, and it's just they're not going to be able to match them for 4 quarters. So
no way.
I think we're still on Saturday. North Melbourne versus Sydney. It's going to be at Marvel. Is North Melbourne making real progress, or are we just grading them on a curve?
Progress.
Okay.
Massive progress, because I'll tell you, there's this one kid, and his name's Harry Sheasel, right?
The Shees. Love him.
He's had a terrible start to the year for his standards.
Yeah.
And North are still playing well. Whereas last year, if he didn't have a game out of the box, they went within 10 goals of teams, you know?
Yeah.
I love what they're doing. I love that the back line's finally starting to work together. The forward line's very potent now with Parker up there. See, I'm trying not to say Jack Darling, all right? Because I know you get excited.
JD,
I want to,
just JD it. JD it.
Okay, he's helped. He's helped, right? Paul Curtis.
He wasn't great this last week, though. He wasn't as good. Let me rephrase it.
Your mate Kane Corns called him out and said he should never play again.
Really? That's harsh.
What an idiot. Oh, he's had 2 good games. He's had one average one.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want the guy to do? He's 33 years of age. Like,
old man.
He's there for one reason and one reason only, right? To take the heat off Nick Larkey. And it's working because he's kicking goals, Nick Larkey, right? So if you expect him, Kane, you clown, to kick goals and be best on ground every week, it's not going to happen, and he's not there for that purpose. Right. So anyway.
I gotcha. So who is losing this game and why?
Cindye.
Wow. Okay. Tell me why.
They can't kick a score. They cannot kick a score.
So to your point, Cindye have played 3 games and their highest scoring game was 82 points. 82 points.
Against Fremantle,
North
they won.
has played 3 games and their lowest scoring game was 78 points. How's
Last
that
weekend
for some
against
facts, right?
There you go. It's great. That's great.
Right? However...
There's always a however, isn't there?
All right, Ricky, are you listening? North Melbourne are going to lose this game. I think that Sydney's going to put just too much pressure on them. They're really good at that. I mean, it's going to be an interesting matchup in the midfield with Warner and Heaney and Sheasel and who am I missing?
LDU.
LDU.
Tom Powell. And,
I love him too. But I think in the end, this might be the more mature team coming out and winning the game.
Who did you give a shout out to earlier?
Ricky.
Rick? No. That
Ricky
did the
Swan. Chuck Finley. Dark Dance 3002.
So Dark Dance 3002, put this down as a loss for Cindye already, okay? Mark my words.
What's the margin going to be?
18 points.
18 points. But is it going to be a high scoring game or is it going to be a low scoring game?
No, I think North kick 108.
That's not moderate.
Yeah, well, they lose by more than Sydney. They kick 86, Sydney.
80.
So what's that? 20 points.
I don't know. Where's Vito when you need him? Oh, geez. All right.
Come on.
Just going to get to it. Giants versus Eagles. This is the game that wins me a one-way ticket to my couch for the night. This is the game where I could possibly get thrown out of my own home.
This is the game where I sit back and let you do all the talking. 'Cause it's your 2 favourite teams.
Yeah. All right. It's a Sunday, I think. NG Stadium. The Giants were fantastic for 1 quarter. I mean, they were amazing. They came out of the gate. You were probably like sweating and like, what is happening? They had the wind on their side. So why didn't they just play defense for the second quarter and just clearly was that a Mitchell versus Kinger's decision to not, coaching?
Definitely
a
Kingley's decision. I know what I would have done. I would have put 18 behind the ball.
Yeah.
You're not scoring. We're 5 goals ahead. You're not scoring. Then we've got the win in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And if we score, great. If we don't, well, you're not scoring either way. And the games are like, that's the dumbest decision ever because they want to play the tsunami, the Giants way.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you didn't win, did you?
And let's talk about the elephant in the room. That bloody wind was ridiculous. I mean, it was ridiculous. And they're talking about having a team in Tasmania.
Say louder.
And I'm like, is there going to be a roof over it? And then I heard someone talking the other day saying there might not be a roof. How are they supposed to play in Tasmania with that kind of weather? It's insane.
Exactly. This is what I've been banging on about for 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So this Tasmanian team is meant to be coming into the AFL in 2028, right?
Right.
That's less than 3 years away, right?
Yeah.
They have not got the shovel and even done that yet.
Oh, God.
Where are you building a stadium in 2.5 years?
At UTAS?
Yeah. How's that going to look with 10,000 people? It's a joke, isn't it?
It just was like, look, and I'm not claiming it was unfair. Look, it was a good game.
No.
I mean, at the end of the day,
it's unfair for the fans.
Yeah, the Hawks figured out how to win under the circumstances. They beat them by 12. It was still like a rough game. They're both excellent teams, and it just wasn't the day for the Giants. So I'm not bitching about the win because of the Giants not winning. Yeah. But it's just not right. I mean, it's like, I don't mind some weather, like, I don't mind like if it's raining or this and that, but it just seemed ridiculous that ball would just like, it would start off in one zip code and end up in another. Oh, you don't say zip code, postal code, right?
Postcode.
Yeah. So
I think every ground in this country should have a roof. Every major ground should have a roof.
And just take away the element of.
Absolutely. As much as it's a sport, we're in an entertainment business, right?
Yeah.
If it's not good to watch, people aren't going to watch it. It's as simple as that.
All right. So the West Coast Eagles clearly weren't up for it against Freo. They had a good fourth quarter. They just did the opposite of what I said. They needed to have 3 good quarters. They had 1 good quarter. So it was a little too late. And Harley, sweet Harley, another 7 free kicks, another 7. What were you eating during the Derby? Because I know it's your favorite dinner time.
I actually had some muesli. I know, it was a late game. Yeah, I had muesli again.
Jeez, okay.
Yeah, I told you I could have it for breakfast, lunch and dinner. And I didn't disappoint.
So you're gonna ask me about Harley.
What colour would suit him more? Is it navy blue or is it black with the sash or black and white stripes or the yellow sash?
I don't think any colors are going to suit him at the way he is right now. I think he's got some stuff to work out. In the US, like our college division is so enormous, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's wonderful because it allows these kids to come out of high school, play at a college level, which is a fiercely competitive level, but it's not the NFL, right? Or it's not the NBA or whatever, right? And it gives them time to mature and grow up and all that stuff. And I think like Harley looks to me like an extreme example of just like a child who's not necessarily coping or has the skill sets right now to like rein it in. And hopefully somebody can, look, we all know he's talented, but how many first round draft picks go on to win premierships or play out full careers, right?
No, you're right. I also think that the problem is the football clubs themselves. Yeah. Because if that was Bradley Hoff, right?
Okay.
If he did that, he's not playing this week, right? I can guarantee you.
Brady Hoff, what do I call him?
Bradley Hoff.
Yeah.
The Hoff, all right?
Yes, the Eagles defender
David Hasselhoff,
yeah,
that one, 19. Yeah. Harley Reid does it, and they put their arms around him. Oh, it's okay, Harley. It's not okay. So send a message, right? So if I was the Eagles have got a new coach. Why don't they build behaviours and say, Harley, that's not good enough. You're playing in the waffle, right?
Yeah.
Now, not because there's a potential of him to leave, but just to teach the whole club a lesson to say, this isn't good enough no matter who you are, right? You've then got Oscar Allen. I want to ask you about him. I mean, he's meeting with club, Brisbane, and I told you months ago he was going to Brisbane.
Well, you say a lot of things that I ignore, but...
and you ignore them, but they're all true, right? And when that happens, it's like, you did say that, and I'm like, I tried to tell you. I'm
not attached to anyone as an Eagles supporter, to be honest with you. I mean, I thought it was like kind of fun and silly that they all did the bird at the 9-minute mark. And I'm like, why not? Let's have some fun. It is entertainment, although nobody dared show it on television.
Let's not show that. That's too rude for TV.
Radical.
2025. Yes. Oh, my God.
But yeah, you're right, because there is a little bit of leeway where maybe if somebody else had behaved in that manner, that they wouldn't have been as acceptable.
And a lot of people are saying in the media over here that, how can Harley listen to Oscar Allen? He hasn't signed. He's a captain of the club. And I agree 100%. Yeah. It's like, make a decision. If you want to go, that's totally fine. They'll probably get number 3 pick for him or number 2 pick, in compensation, right?
Yeah.
Where's the accountability at West Coast?
All right. So who loses and why?
West Coast, because of all the things I just said.
I almost feel like we should go out to dinner that night and not watch it so that I...
No. You sit on that couch and you suffer.
I'm not gonna enjoy it as much as I should as
That's why I want
Giants
you to watch
fan.
It.
Yeah.
That's why I want you to watch it.
And it's like 8:00 on a Saturday night, too.
Oh,
it's
you
like,
poor thing.
Of all the games. Okay. Port Adelaide versus St. Kilda, Sunday afternoon at Adelaide Oval. So, Andy, Are you aware that St. Kilda has
Yes,
been to
I'm aware.
Adelaide? It'll be
Yes.
3 times by the gather round. What the hell, AFL? What is this? Why?
They care as much about St Kilda as I do.
All right. So was Essendon finding their spark, or did Port pull on the handbrake with a quarter to go?
Yeah, I think it's more the Port side, to be
Okay.
honest. Essendon couldn't have played any worse and won the game,
Okay.
you know, because they didn't exactly set the world alight and they beat Port Adelaide. So it
Yeah.
says a lot about Port Adelaide, and I've been banging on about them for weeks.
They're a bit
Geez,
of a
they're poor.
basket case too at the moment, aren't
They're
they?
bad.
Was St. Kilda's big win over Richmond a sign that they're finally clicking the gear, or was
No.
it more about how far off Richmond is? You think it's Richmond?
More, oh, absolutely.
All right. Answer that question myself. Who loses? Who loses and why?
Port Adelaide.
Wow. What?
You didn't see that coming, did you?
I totally did not. You just threw me a curveball.
Hey,
Really?
I call it like it is. I don't
All right.
care if I hate them.
Yeah.
But Port Adelaide, they can't kick a score. Their forward line is non-existent.
Yeah. Well,
St Kilda at
well,
least have a method. It's
Yeah.
a Ross line method, which I don't like, but they have a method and they all abide by it, all of them, right? So
Okay.
that's why I think Port Adelaide loses.
Well, I disagree. I think the St. Kilda loses home ground advantage. They're going to, this like kind of motivation by loss, I think is a real thing. Saints are inconsistent.
Spreadsheet's looking good.
We shall
Can't wait.
see.
Can't wait to see it after next week.
All right. For the grand finale, Frio Dockers against the Western Bulldogs. This game will be in Optus and your favorite time slot. Oh, is it earlier?
It's an hour earlier.
Wow. Was it daylight savings or something? Time
It
change?
might be this weekend. I don't know. Yeah, more than likely. Like, I can't imagine the AFL doing anything smart and putting it on their hour earlier.
You placed another couple nugget bets, and
Mm-hmm.
Frio beat the Eagles convincingly. So do you think this is Frio starting their nugget campaign for 2025 in their quest to see you
No,
eat disgusting food?
no.
No? All right. So is Libba in line for All-Australian?
I hope so.
I hope so.
He's so underrated. Yeah. He deserves
It's
it.
been really good lately, huh?
He's put in a good 10-year shift, and he
Yeah.
hasn't been All-Australian yet. So
Okay.
please, I'm hoping he gets it. I just love the way he goes about it.
We're going to just get straight to it. Who loses this game and why?
Fremantle.
Fremantle are losing at home at
Jeez,
Optus.
you've raised your eyebrows like the Rock a few times this episode.
Why?
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 Were they convincing against West Coast Fremantle? No.
Yeah.
They were
Weren't
convincing, were they?
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
In the end,
Didn't excite me. Bulldogs are going very well.
Yeah.
They're a bit of a sleeper at the moment. I think people
Okay.
are not really taking notice of the Bulldogs. So good luck, Fremantle.
Are people not taking notice of the Bulldogs? I feel like people are. I feel like
Not really.
they've been surprisingly well. Everyone wrote them off without Bont and Waitman and,
Yeah, yes, that's
So-
exactly what happened. But
Yeah.
I just reckon they're not taking them seriously. They're like, oh yeah, they beat Carlton, and they.
I don't know. Everybody
got
can't stop
unlucky.
talking about Darcy, right?
Yeah, well, that's one. Yes,
I don't know.
that.
All right. Well, so I disagree. I think Frio, I think Bulldogs are going to lose. I think Pearson Ryan can match Darcy and Norton. Norton has not been great. He has been
terrible.
underwhelming, let's say. And Brayshaw and Sarong turned it on this past week. They were clicking. So, I mean, Liberatory, he's great, but I don't know. We got the Pat Voss, who, other than his unfortunate last name, you gotta like. Tracy.
No, I don't like him.
Ames. I think they're going to stretch the back line. I think Frea's going to get
Okay.
it done for a second week in a row at home, and the Nugget
Cool.
race will be on.
You reckon the Nugget race is on, do you?
The Nugget race is, I don't know. We'll see. Just in case anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, Andy said that he'll eat 100 nuggets if Frio makes finals. And who else is it? There's 100
Port Adelaide.
nuggets for Port and 100 for Frio.
Not together. I'm not having 200 at once. It's got to be on separate days, all right?
Come on, Port and Frio.
Good on you, eh? Wouldn't you love to see that?
Anyway, well, thanks guys for hanging out with us. You can catch Andy at Ankle Sore, and Carlton Corner is his rap about his Carlton team. And hope your team wins, and we'll see you next week.